What's up, Yang Gang? We are on our way to South Carolina to cover the Andrew Yang events for y'all. Little Yang Gang's in the back seat, chilling. So we just wanted to say that we love y'all, and we will see you soon for our trip there. We wanted to shout out real quick Steve Marchand. He saw us on Twitter, and he's got some events going on up in New Hampshire, and one of those events is going to be at his house. And he just gave us a shout out on Twitter. So we appreciate that, Steve, and hopefully we can get up there to New Hampshire and bring these events to y'all as well on a live stream. Mama, you want to say anything?
I want to say thank you so much to everyone that donated yesterday and this morning. That is amazing, and that's helping us out in a big way.
Helping us out, y'all. We gotta find a place to live.
We gotta find a place to live. We also really want to go to New Hampshire for all those events, because it's gonna be amazing. You know, we can live stream.
For sure,
yeah.
It is gonna be amazing. And you know what? We actually care less about a place to live.
My hands get tired.
Than going to see Andrew Yang.
Right? Isn't that weird?
He's covering it for y'all. So we love you, Yang Gang. We'll see you when we get to South Carolina.
Yes. So while we're on our way, enjoy these clips of Andrew Yang on CNN. One from yesterday and one from the day before. He did an excellent job.
Our boy is doing the thing. He's doing it, y'all.
Yeah, really good stuff.
What's up, Yang Gang? So we're on our way to South Carolina. We just wanted to shout out our new Patreons. We appreciate y'all. Here's the total of what we have. And look, we yanged this little guy out of the street. We didn't want him to get hurt. Turtles for Yang, y'all. Turtles for Yang.
We're a little more than halfway there.
A little more than halfway there.
Yay.
We're gonna eventually we may keep him forever, y'all. He's adorable.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a boy or girl, I don't know.
And we love turtles.
We love turtles.
Super friendly, so give them a little home.
See you when we get there.
Alright.
All the way. Thank you, Gang Gang. I love you guys. You're the best. Wouldn't be here without you.
We just played that emotional moment from this weekend in Iowa. Are you surprised, given all the attention right now on the issue of background checks and guns, that Mitch McConnell is not, willing to bring folks back to actually address this, or even clear on what moves he would support, if any?
At this point, the will of the American people is very clear, and hopefully he'll see reason and reconvene the Senate so we can get this legislation passed. When you say, am I surprised? Unfortunately, it's not as surprising as I wish it were.
It seems like you can make the argument he's trying to slow walk this and basically hope that attention dies down on it and passions die down on it.
Yeah, that's been the playbook, certainly. They hope that the country turns its attention to something else, but I have a feeling that the country is not going to let this one go until we get some laws across the finish line.
The president talks about wanting meaningful background checks. In the past, after Parkland, he talked about raising the age for buying a long rifle. He talked about background checks as well, and then nothing happens, and he seems to kind of walk away from it as soon as people who support those ideas leave the room, and the NRA or somebody else comes in and has a different opinion.
Yeah, we're kind of accustomed to an erratic level of commitment and decision-making out of the White House, unfortunately. I think we have an historic opportunity right now, not only because the American people are so outraged and eager for real action, but also the NRA is kind of a mess right now. The NRA is in disarray, and I think that their ability to counter the will of the American people is somewhat diminished right now. So we have to take advantage of this opportunity.
There's still, it's easy to overstate the problems within the NRA, and they still have a lot of money. They're still very powerful.
Yeah, of course. But
do you worry about that, about their influence in politics? Do you think they still carry tremendous weight?
Well, the times are changing, but the stranglehold the NRA has had on gun legislation is a sign of a larger problem, which is that our politics have been overrun by lobbyists, been overrun by corporate money and other funders. So one of my flagship proposals is to give every American $100 every year that we can only give to candidates and campaigns, which would wash out lobbyist cash by a factor of 8 to 1.
So that would be you would give every American $100 every year to donate to a campaign.
Just democracy dollars. You use it or lose it. You can only use these dollars to contribute to a candidate or campaign, and if you don't use them, they disappear, and you get.
So would there still be lobbyist money allowed? I mean, you can't stop that, can?
So that's the trick here, Anderson, is that the NRA has their tens of millions of dollars. They have legislators locked up. And so the legislators feel like it's in their self-preservation to listen to the NRA and not the will of the American people. Money talks in this country, and it's very hard to push lobbyist money out of politics entirely. So what we do is we wash it out with a flood of people-powered money, where if you're a legislator and the NRA says, hey, I've got $500,000 for you to run against you, and then your people say, look, who cares about their $500,000? I've got $5 million because there are 50,000 of us giving you $100 each. Then we can actually turn and align the legislators' self-interest with the will of the people.
What do you support in terms of change on laws regarding firearms?
I'm aligned with most all of the other Democratic candidates where we need universal background checks, we need red flag laws, we need to ban military-style assault weapons. Now, the question is, why are we not getting this done? And then the answer is the NRA and lobbyist cash and the fact that the legislative process is now disconnected with the will of the people. So we have to address that. Then we have to try and get the gun manufacturers' interest aligned also with the American people. We need to have a perpetual buyback of guns in this country because there are over 300 million firearms out there in private hands.
Even if there's an assault weapons ban, that's one of the conclusions that they reached in 2004. I think the final report on the assault weapons ban was it wasn't long enough to actually have a demonstrable effect on gun deaths because there are so many
out there.
Weapons still out there.
Yeah, no matter what laws we have in the books, it doesn't diminish the supply that's out there because it's not like these guns disappear. I mean, a lot of them are in private homes. So a perpetual buyback where any gun owner could trade in their gun, even if it's beat up or crummy. I mean, you can imagine some of them being like, oh, this is not the gun. This is not my favorite gun. I'll trade this one in, and we can start to decrease the supply over time. We can also try and make the guns safer by having them be personalized to a particular owner's handprint. So it's not fingerprint. It doesn't need to actually read your fingers, but it can actually be personalized based upon your grip, the dimensions of your fingers, like where the weight's coming from. And so then if that gun gets into a child's hands or someone else's hands, then it's useless. And many gun owners are parents and would be very excited about personalizing their weapon, particularly if the government were to subsidize that or even pay for it.
Elon Musk tweeted out support for you.
Yes, Elon is part of the Yang Gang. We're so excited about it.
What was it? It was the 3-word tweet?
It was I support Yang, which says it all.
That's all you need to say?
But now Elon's team is in touch with my team, and we're going to put our heads together. Elon's ahead of the curve, obviously, in terms of seeing the future and seeing what's coming.
Yes.
And so
it's brilliant, clearly.
Yeah, so we couldn't be more thrilled with his endorsement.
Vice presidential candidate, perhaps?
I don't think he wants that job, Anderson. I think he'll be like, SpaceX, Tesla, VP. I have a feeling a VP might lose in that horse race.
Andrew Yang, it's good to talk to you. Thank you.
It's great seeing you. Thank you, Anderson.
Joining me now, entrepreneur and Democratic presidential candidate, Andrew Yang. So good to see you again.
Yeah, it's great to see you as well,
Thank you so much. So let's talk about today. The president used an official speech to launch an attack on his opponents, to pat himself on the back for a whole host of things, and to tell a bunch of lies. His former friend and comms director, Anthony Scaramucci, said today, the emperor has no clothes. So the emperor has no clothes, but what is it going to take to beat him?
Well, we have to start solving the problems of the American people that got Donald Trump elected. And right now, he's crowing about GDP. GDP's at record highs, while financial insecurity, stress, anxiety, even suicides and drug overdoses are all also at record highs. So we have to improve the reality on the ground for more Americans, and that's how we're going to beat him in 2020.
Mm-hmm. Can we talk about your signature proposal?
Of course.
$1,000 a month in universal basic income for every American adult. You're calling it a freedom dividend. Why did you focus on that, and how is that the solution to what ails America?
Well, to me, the driving force behind Donald Trump's victory in 2016 was that we blasted away 4 million manufacturing jobs in Michigan, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, all these swing states. Mm-hmm. And when I dug into the numbers, unfortunately, retraining programs didn't work, and many of these communities are struggling to find a path forward. Martin Luther King championed freedom dividend, in essence, in the 60s, and one state has had a dividend just like this for almost 40 years, Alaska, which is paid for by oil money. And we can pay for a dividend for all Americans using technology money, because right now you have trillion-dollar tech companies like Amazon paying zero in taxes. If we get some of the gains from this economy into our hands, then we'll create a trickle-up economy, and that's what the freedom dividend is meant to kickstart.
How will they pay for universal basic income?
You mean how will we, like as a society? Again, if you have a trillion-dollar tech company like Amazon that's closing 30% of our malls and stores, paying zero in taxes, then it is going to be hard to pay for a lot of things. But if you give the American people our fair share of every Amazon sale, every Google search, every Facebook ad, every robot truck mile eventually, then we can easily afford a freedom dividend of $1,000 per American.
But you know what they say? They said that Amazon creates jobs, gives people jobs, it improves neighborhoods, and on and on and on. Do you disagree with that?
Oh, Amazon's doing a lot of the job creating, but it's also doing a lot of job destroying on the other end. They recently even just came clean and said that they're going to spend billions of dollars trying to retrain their own employees. But you know who they're not going to retrain? The 30% of retail workers who work in the malls and Main Street stores that are closing because Amazon's soaking up $20 billion in business every year. They're retraining their own people, but they're not going to retrain the mom and pop business owner in New Hampshire or Iowa.
I want to play this moment from the CNN debates last month. Watch this.
You know what the talking heads couldn't stop talking about after the last debate? It's not the fact that I'm somehow number 4 on the stage in national polling. It was the fact that I wasn't wearing a tie. Instead of talking about automation in our future, including the fact that we automated away 4 million manufacturing jobs, hundreds of thousands right here in Michigan, we're up here with makeup on our faces and our rehearsed attack lines, playing roles in this reality TV show. It's one reason why we elected a reality TV star as our president.
I mean, that got thunderous applause there. I was on the stage that night. People loved that line. They also loved it at home and on social media. So the question is, how does a Democrat run against that reality show that's happening now?
Well, you know, Don, it's been a joy running for president because people have been digging into the ideas behind this campaign, and a lot of these ideas take a little bit more time than a 60-second soundbite. No offense, because I'm thrilled to be here. But my popularity rose in large part because of long-form conversations on the internet. People have been reading my book and finding out about the fact that we're in the midst of the greatest economic transformation in the history of our country. Yeah. What experts are calling the 4th Industrial Revolution. We need to have a real conversation about what that means for our society.